Throughout the living of your life here in this physical body, you have created a vibrational reality that the larger part of you is completely at one with. But you, in your physical form, usually are not up to speed with your vibrational reality. It's so current and so new, and you're so behind the times because you're facing reality. In other words, you've asked for more money and it's over here, but you're noticing how much you've got, which is keeping you from being up to speed with what's over here. And we know it seems annoying because you think you can't yet spend this vibrational bank account. But you could soon if you would stop being so aware of your reality bank account, because you can't offer a vibration about not enough money and a vibration about plenty of money at the same time. And when you are so much more aware of what's going on financially than you are of what you've put into your escrow, you hold yourself in a resistant state to the very money that is queued up and ready for you. You can't see the trail. You can't see the path. You're zigging and zagging. You're not in the right place at the right time. You're missing the meeting of those who will accommodate you in the uncovering, in the discovery, in the creation of the means that will give you the money that you have created and that you deserve. In other words, you got to get up to speed with this vibrational reality, which means first you got to acknowledge that there is one. We know it's a little odd. You come to this gathering, we hear you. As you leave this and you try to tell someone, where were you yesterday? Oh, well, I was at a meeting. Oh, what was it about? Well, it's a little hard to explain. There's this man who calls his wife Abraham. Got to get over that first. And she stands. She refers to herself in the plural tense. It's so strange. It's just one person standing there, but she says, we. She points at the floor and calls it a vortex. And she claims that there's a vibrational reality in there and that we just can't see it. And we say, duh. And she says that if we'll stop facing reality, that we'll be able to see the vibrational reality. Yes, I did pay money for that, yes. But we want you to realize that everything that you see is a vibrational interpretation. In other words, the reality that you are all so excited about is a vibrational interpretation too. You're just good at it. You're just so tuned to it. And because others are sort of on the same wavelength, you have an agreement about this reality. We want to convince you today that this reality, which is the basis of what you're creating, is a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful basis. We're not trying to take you away from your awareness of reality. We just don't want it to be the only thing you focus on. We want you to accept that there is a vibrational reality that is really the new now. It's the new present tense. Esther looked on her iPhone this morning to find out that it was about 2:20 a.m. in Sydney today, here. So weird that in Sydney, it's Sunday. She said to the girls in the office when they were in Sydney, we're living your future. You're going to like it when you get here. It's really fun. But of course, that wasn't really an accurate statement, because even though it was called the next day, it was called tomorrow or Sunday instead of Saturday, it's still now. It's still now. Call them. They'll be there now, not tomorrow. And if you call us, we're here now. Non-physical, physical, doesn't matter. It's all now. We just want you to understand that there is a now vibrational reality that you have set into motion that is the culmination of all that you have come to so far, that is offering a frequency of abundance and well-being and stamina and vitality and fun. And you have the ability to make your way to a chronic, steady, vibrational match to that frequency And when you do, when you are offering the vibration primarily of abundance and not noticing lack, when you're offering the vibration of physical well-being primarily and not noticing aches and pains and bogus diagnoses, and they're all bogus, by the way, they're all bogus because they're all old news. But Abraham, the escrow is still hot in my hand. The bank just told me online how much is there. That seems pretty current to me. And we say, it's old news, old news, old news, old news. It's old news, it's old news. What is old news. And if you could accept it as old news and develop the appetite that is natural to you to give your attention to this vortex of creation, if you could look forward from where you stand in your manifestation, but be present in where you stand vibrationally, if you could let the criteria that you are using to determine whether you give your attention to something or not, if you could let that criteria be, am I merging with source or am I clogging up the works? Am I allowing alignment or am I resisting alignment? Does this thought feel good or does this thought feel bad? If you would let the criteria to the thoughts you think, to the words you speak, and to the action that you offer, if you could stop and say, how does this feel? And if it doesn't feel good, you would not move forward. We've been saying to you for a while, and Jerry and Esther are having fun with it, get into the vortex and then. Get into the vortex and then have a conversation with your kids. Get into the vortex and then make your airline reservations. Get into the vortex and then take a drive in your car. Get into the vortex and then think about your relationship. Get into the vortex and then contemplate whatever it is you're contemplating. Because if you will take the time to get into the vortex, which means find a way of offering in this moment so little resistance that the law of attraction sees you as one of the cooperative components to the well-being that is the vortex, that it takes you in. When you begin to live life predominantly from inside the vortex, those watching you, whether they're in or out, will see amazing changes in what comes to you. The first thing they will notice is that the human effort factor will seem to evaporate. Because effort, gotta make this happen, gotta do this, gotta make the right phone call, gotta be at the right place at the right time, gotta go to work, gotta do what they say, gotta be right, gotta be on time, gotta be who they want me to be, gotta do it. That effort factor will evaporate from your experience, because when you are in tune with the results that you are seeking, the law of attraction is orchestrating the cooperative components and saying, come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. And when you reach what you call your pinnacle of success, we will call it temporary because it always is, because there's more. But when you reach that pinnacle of success relative to whatever it is, whether it's money or relationship or creating an empire or a creative project, when you reach that place and others say, what plan did you use? What path did you follow? You'll say, I followed the path of ease and flow. I just did what was easiest. And they'll say, oh, that sucks. I'm over here beating my brains out. And then you say, well, they won't be ready to hear it, but when you're not in the vortex, everything's harder. When you are in the vortex, everything's easier because you are using the leverage of the energy that creates worlds. You see, something that you don't know that we know, that we really want you to know in the way that we know it, is that when you have put all of the, as you've been living life and putting your requests into the vortex, the cooperative components have already spun that creation into being. It's already done. It's done. You did the hard work through the sorting. You did the hard work in the choosing. Think about it. It's like going to a buffet. Isn't the hardest thing you do at the buffet making up your mind what you want on your plate? Isn't that the hard part? Everything else is just sort of done for you. Oh, you have to eat it, but you don't call that the hard part. You call that the plucking of the fruit from the vine part. In other words, that's the way creation is supposed to be. The hard part is the sifting and the deciding. And the decision shoots vibrationally into this vortex Are you with us about this vibration stuff, or is it just mumbo jumbo? Vibration. We want you to understand that everything that you see that is manifested, everything, all of this, knock on wood, see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it, reality. The reason you see is because you're interpreting vibration. And you say, no, we all see it. And I can usually feel what I can see. Depends on how much I've had to drink. But I can usually feel what I can see. In other words, my world is a stable world. And we say the vibrational world is a stable world too. And what we're asking you to do is to raise your vibrational frequency by releasing the resistant thoughts that are keeping your frequency lower, so that you can tune yourself to the frequency, so that you can begin to see and hear and smell and taste and touch those things of a higher frequency that you want. There's a higher frequency in wellness than in sickness, much higher. There's a higher frequency. That's why when you get good at this, you can look at someone and you can tell they're sick because you can feel the vibration of their output. Everything that you smell is a frequency. The higher the frequency, that's why in that high frequency, very sensitive smelling that dogs do, you think they're out there smelling gross things. They're not out there smelling gross things. As Jerry and Esther and Karen walked through this back kitchen, Esther said again today, I love this hotel. This is my favorite hotel because the kitchen is, first of all, immaculate. And next, it is so full of different flavors and spices. It's just so unique, all of the different stations. A dog would really like it back there. In other words, all this ability to smell at depths of satisfaction that you are not so well tuned to. There is a frequency in the vortex. Years ago, when Jerry and Esther first met us, Esther had walked down to open the gate, and Jerry was bringing the car. And Esther was standing down there at the gate waiting for him, and standing in one of the most beautiful days that she had ever experienced anywhere. They were in San Antonio. And all of a sudden, Esther began to smell fragrances that she could not even begin to identify. It was like floral, plants, earth, fragrances. And she thought, what is this? She's looking around. And then she begins to hear sounds, birds and wind and things that were not available to her eyesight. The birds were so far away she couldn't see them. And then she began to feel the wind on her skin. The sensation was incredible. And then she said, Abraham, it's you, isn't it? And we said, you've caught us again. Peeping through your eyes, smelling through your nose, feeling through your skin, hearing through your ears. In other words, when you are tuned in to the frequency of who you really are, that higher frequency gives you a different reality. There is a different reality at different vibrational levels. People who live in abundance have a different chronic vibrational frequency than people who live in poverty. People who live in physical wellness have a different chronic vibrational frequency than people who are sick. If you know someone who's always puny, something always going on with their physical body, don't you notice that their attitude is usually sort of one that you don't really enjoy being around? Aren't they sort of whiny and complaining about a lot of things? Aren't they defensive and worried about things? In other words, your frequencies are your control. And when you control your frequencies to the point, now let's talk about this emotional scale. So on the far not good feeling end of the emotional scale is depression or fear. They're pretty much the same vibration. And on the other end of the scale is joy, passion, appreciation, and love. And of course, some of everything else in between. So when you are depressed, it feels better to get revengeful, doesn't it? Powerlessness, revenge, anger, less anger. But when you get up in the vicinity of the vortex, now you're in the hope. Hope is just on the edge of the vortex. You hang around in a sort of hopeful attitude on the subjects that really matter to you. That vortex, law of attraction, will take you in.